everybody, and welcome to the House of Mario, the South Australian Nintendo podcast that is backed by a 120 Power Star rating. I'm your host, Drew Agnew, and the doors to episode 188 are open. This week on the show, we're talking about some Mario Golf Rush Tour, whatever it's called, details. I don't know, I can't keep up with these Mario Golfs. Jesus. How many there's been? 5? I don't know, who cares? And yeah, much more. I got some guests I'm excited about. I actually couldn't care that much about the games at all, to be honest. I had a bit of a trouble. Bryce couldn't make it tonight, so I'm like, all right, who is available? I thought I was going to be doing a solo episode, talking to myself, but my good friend Ash Wallace, he's back in town, and he's brought his partner Katy, and we're going to have some fun talking about Nintendo and some of the, I guess, recent happenings, but we'll see where the conversation takes us. So guys, how are we going?
Oh, excellent. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, not too bad. Don't know. I've got to be honest, Ash. I had to set up the camera 3 times. Set it up over there. I put it there. Announced there. But apart from that, I guess that's as far as my day has gone.
I was watching you move the cameras and the lights around. I asked you if there was anything I can do. I knew full well while I was asking that you were going to say no, because I have no idea how to set any of it up. But I just felt bad watching you do it, because it was very much our fault.
No, I'm very happy you guys are here. So, Katy, is this your first podcast you've been on, or?
Yes, first one ever. So.
First one ever. Ooh, that's exciting.
Bit intimidating.
Bit intimidating. Yeah, it's very scary being in the spare bedroom here at the House of Mario.
It doesn't really have bedroom vibes, I must say.
No, there's no bed. There's no bed.
Not much room either.
There was one night I tried sleeping on the floor because I was doing some late night editing and stuff, and it was nice and warm in here. The rest of the house was a bit cold, so I slept on the floor for about an hour. I'm like, this sucks. So I went back to my cold bed,
and I bet it was much better.
It was. So we've had Ash's story on the podcast before. He likes, playing Super Smash Brothers and all that type of thing. But Katy, what's your sort of your Nintendo background, and how long you've been into video games and all that stuff?
Oh, how far back do you want to go?
We'll go back to the beginning.
Right in the beginning, I started. I think my first my first Nintendo console would have been the NES.
Oh, yeah.
Nintendo Entertainment System. That's showing my age, I guess.
Yeah, she's a little bit older than me, so she got the earlier consoles.
It wasn't actually mine. It was my older brother's. So he had a NES, and I remember, I think, playing Adventures of Lolo.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Really old school one. Yeah, that was really fun. And then growing up, my brother, big Nintendo fan, he had all the consoles growing up. So went from NES, Super Nintendo, 64, GameCube, and so on.
Yep.
You know? Sorry.
Was your brother like older than you? So that's why he brought him in?
2 years older than me, yeah. So he was always getting them for every Christmas, every birthday was, what can I get that's Nintendo?
I always hear those stories of siblings bringing in like the consoles, and that's how you experience them, and it makes me so jealous. Because it was always me. My intuition's like, I want that, Mum. Give it to me now.
So it was actually the same way that I got into it. The Nintendo 64 and the SNES were both my brothers. And
yeah.
I probably wouldn't be the same person I am today, like with video games in general, if it weren't for him having them when I was a kid.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, sometimes I do think about, like, if I had an older brother, because it's just such a weird concept to me being an only child. So, like, what would I could have been into, like, hunting or something completely different. I could have been out shooting birds right now instead of recording a podcast. You never know.
That's a very this area thing to be into as well.
You got to go out, have a few bundies and go and shoot some things.
I always see
a
few people from back here that I've got on Instagram taking pictures with like deer and stuff that they've hunted, and I'm like, yeah, cool.
I saw someone on Facebook the other day of like with a deer they shot, and they've got like the PETA sort of filter over it saying like shoot with a camera, not with a gun, or whatever their slogan was.
Probably the same person that I'm talking about.
I'm like, oh, I see what you did there, yeah.
You cheeky bugger.
Yeah. Yeah.
If only Peter could see.
So with sort of your journey throughout Nintendo consoles, what was one of your favourite ones?
Oh,
that's a hard question.
A big question. Like, And we even prepped for this on the way here. I was like, oh, what if he asked this question?
Oh my God, he's going to ask me the hard-hitting questions.
You answered them pretty well on the way in the prep phase.
Oh, you rehearsed the answers, did you?
It was like in a big sports game in one of those movies. I was like giving her the big coach, like the big speech before the game. And she's come out and she's blown it.
And I'm just fumbling.
You're like, listen here, babe, I've been on a couple of podcasts, so I'm a bit of an expert when it comes to this type of thing. You've just got to speak from the heart.
Well, if we're talking single player, probably Wind Waker up there, and original Pokemon Snap.
Or the original one.
Original Pokemon Snap, yes.
Yeah, have you gotten into the new one?
I have, yes. Big fan, but original just has that real nostalgia
You
vibe.
can't beat nostalgia, can we?
And finishing the whole game in one night in just a couple of hours. Can't do that with new Pokemon Snap.
Thinking about this as well, playing the new Pokemon Snap, because I've been playing that a bit as well. And you think back on Pokemon Snap now, it's just so nostalgic. But that's the only way you can think about it. But at the time, it wasn't nostalgic because it was new back then.
No, yeah.
And you can't look at it without that nostalgia filter. It makes it very hard to weigh them up on the same basis, on the same level, because it's never going to be the old one because the old one's got nostalgia, whereas this one doesn't because it's only just come out.
Yeah, I come from it from a kind of unique place, I guess, because I never really played the original one that much. My experience with the 64 was just going to friends' places and playing a lot of Smash Brothers, a lot of Mario Kart, a lot of Mario 64, and like they are some of my favorite games, and I've got absolutely amazing memories just with my friends playing them. But yeah, not so much Pokemon Snap. None of my friends were cool enough to have Pokemon Snap. It's a bit like Ocarina of Time. None of my friends, apart from Bryce, had Ocarina of Time, and that wasn't the type of game that you whip out when a friend's over.
Yeah,
like,
no, definitely not.
Hey, Drew, let's chuck an Ocarina of Time and let's just smash out the Forest Temple, eh? That
Just
sounds
watch
sick.
me play this for 9 hours and make no progress. I can't figure out how to get this Zora through the whale. Better restart it.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a weird little method you had there, didn't you?
It worked in the end. No, it didn't.
So the new Pokemon Snap, do you like seeing all the new Pokemon and stuff in there, new graphics? Or you're like, you haven't played Pokemon in a long time, so you're learning them from a new perspective?
So up until recently, I was not a fan of anything that was basically anything past Gen 1 Pokemon. I was like, don't even talk to me about it. I was just not having it. Not about that. Not about that filthy Gen 2 or any of the other generations. But since playing new Pokemon Snap, I'm like, oh, Bidoof.
Everybody loves Bidoof.
What a legend.
How many bum pictures do you have of Bidoof? Be a fair few.
How many can you have? All of them.
Oh,
I have
true.
all the bum pictures of Bidoof.
Go and print them all out?
Yeah. She's just got like a binder full of them. This one's my favourite.
So did you have a Wii U? Is that something you had?
No, I never had the Wii U. I think by that point I was no longer living with my brother, and so I think he probably had a Wii U. Yeah.
It's always an interesting question because it's like, how much of a Nintendo sucker are you if you bought a Wii U? And that's not to insult myself, Bryce, or anyone else that listens to this podcast, but there's 13 million people that said, you know what, it's going to have games. It's going to be fine. It's going to be all right.
That's a pretty safe assumption to make, usually, that it's going to have games. It didn't.
No, it had a handful.
It had a handful. The ones it had were really good too, but it was very niche just because it had such a small player base. I had 3 of them.
What?
3 Wii U's. I
Why?
had the white one. I got the black one. I got the black one first, and just being the Wii U, ran out of memory really quick.
So you bought a second one for more memory?
A second one for more memory.
What, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I can't really even remember.
They had hard drive support. Why didn't you buy a hard drive?
I can't remember. I can't remember why I did any of the things that I did. One of them I bought to mod it, and I just destroyed the software, and it became it bricked. And I think I've still got that one somewhere. I don't have either of the other ones. Yeah, no, it doesn't really make any sense in hindsight, does it?
I just love the idea of like buying a whole console just for more.
Imagine another 32 gig as well.
Imagine like with the original PS4 with like 500 megabytes, you just like stack 5 on them. So I've got a terabyte. I've got a terabyte. You're like, oh, which one's The Last of Us on? Oh, turn them all on and just flip through them all. Oh, that one. Oh, there it is. There it is.
Just like label on the top what games is on that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
no, that's pretty silly in hindsight, but that's what I did.
don't know how I feel about that.
Look, thinking back on it, I don't know how I feel about it either. It was pretty dumb.
No, there'll be someone out there who's like, yeah, no, I did that too. That was a great idea. I just had 5 Wii U's, so I had at least 100 gig of storage. So have you just recently got the Switch? You didn't have the Wii U. You're back with a Nintendo Switch. I heard that Ash bought it for you. What a nice young man.
Well, you can say that. He started out before he got me the Switch. He liked to call me a broke ass bitch. 'Cause all I had was a Wii, just a crappy old
There's
Wii.
nothing wrong with the Wii, but when it's 2020, well, it was the end of 2020, and you've still like your friends are coming over like, you guys want to play the Wii?
Hey, my mates were still playing Mario Kart Wii.
Yeah, it's better. It's better on the Switch though, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
No, the Wii's a really fun party console.
The
but
Wii was a great party console.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not trash talking the Wii.
You know what else you could play on the Wii? Original Pokemon Snap.
you can.
You can
Yeah,
do
you
that.
can
yeah.
actually, yeah.
I actually had my Wii was quite heavily modded back in the day, and I could play any Nintendo 64 games on it, which was brilliant. Mario Party 1 was probably my all-time favorite party game. It was very unforgiving.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of the traits that were really unforgiving didn't carry on into any of the subsequent Mario parties because it made it so brutal. But that's what I liked about it. If you failed at something, it punished you, and it punished you hard.
That's what you wanted a party setting.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's what your head smacked in.
If everybody else hasn't played it anywhere near as much as you, then they're going to be awful at it and lose all their coins after every mini game. Maybe that's why I liked it, because I won every time.
Yeah, and I only sort of got into Mario Party with like the GameCube games. That's what we had a lot of fun with. I didn't play much of the 64. Like I said, my Nintendo 64 friends didn't have Mario Party either. Bloody bastards. Yeah, and that's the thing too with the Wii. If you're just playing games or party games when friends come over, have a few beers, have a few drinks, you don't care that it's HD anyway. It's blurry enough
that's
anyway.
it. Your vision's like you're seeing double.
Yeah, your friends have like lost their glasses. They can't see anyway. So Smash Brothers Brawl and SD doesn't matter anyway.
That is true, yeah.
So what would you play on the Wii when friends came over? Was it like Wii Sports, Mario Kart? Was there anything else in there, or was it just like the main hitters?
Big ones were so Mario Kart and Brawl. And then I also had a GameCube copy of Mario Party 5
Yep.
of all of them. I don't know why I had 5, but I had 5. And yeah, we used to play that on the Wii as well.
Yeah,
So you
cool.
could play the GameCube ones on the Wii.
Yeah. I remember it was actually Mel who had a Wii, and we brought over like some GameCube games and like GameCube controllers to play Smash Bros. And they actually had the Wii that got revised and it had no GameCube support, so it had no bit for the controllers at the top.
Oh,
Well, like,
But why?
just to make it cheaper so they could make more profit on it. They just gutted the GameCube out of it.
I didn't even know that they did that.
Yeah, they sure did. Yeah, it's very disappointing. We're all over there. Oh, yep, gonna have a few drinks. Gonna play some Smash Brothers. So we end up playing Smash Brothers with like sideways Wiimotes, and
Oh, no.
Bryce and I, we were not having that. We were not very
You
impressed.
guys are GameCube controller
No,
purists, aren't you?
Yeah, so maybe we should go back and get our Wii, Bryce. I don't really recommend this. Everyone's like, oh, we don't care. This is fun. I was like, no, it's not. It's not
I
fun.
remember-
You're not having fun.
I remember playing with the sideways Wii remote, and your thumb on the D-pad would get so sore because those buttons were so stiff. And you were pressing them.
that D-pad was disgusting.
It was awful.
Let's not beat around the bush here. That D-pad may as well not be there. But if you're playing Smash, all it is a couple of taunts, so it doesn't matter. You do the Mario thing, you do whatever Mario does in Brawl. I forgot what his taunts. I was going to say he throws Cappy around, but Cappy was not a thing in Brawl.
Well, when the sideways Wii remote, that was how you moved with the D-pad.
On the Wiimote, gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, you're talking about the Pro controller.
I was talking about the GameCube controller. The
Oh,
D-pad.
yeah. Sorry, I was saying like the D-pad on the sideways Wii remote made your thumb real sore playing with that because it was so hard.
Yeah. It wasn't super bad. It was just the way you held it because of the way it was shaped, like with the B button. You got to like do your crab claw to get the B button to do your shield and stuff. And it worked though. It was good enough.
Yeah.
Or was it? I don't know.
Well, I played with that a lot because I didn't have what I played with back then was the classic controller.
Yeah.
The one that plugged into the...
I did too.
Yeah, so I didn't have that for a very long time, and I was stuck with that. And I just never really was any good at Brawl until the very back end stages of it when I finally got the classic controller. And I was like, you can actually be good at this game?
Yeah, you just need the right equipment, Ash. You need the right equipment, so you
Sideways Wii Remote is not that.
No, I think the Wiimote nunchuck was actually worse
Oh, it was so much worse.
than using the sideways Wiimote. It's just like, what the hell's going on?
It was just like, with such a precision-based game, when you're holding two controllers in different hands, it's just not a very good way of playing.
Yeah, because I think you jumped with the C button on just like the default controls. So that's like the opposite hand to what you'd usually be pressing the jump button on. I don't know.
Pressing it with your left hand is just unnatural.
Yeah. So, Katie, Nintendo Switch, what games have you been playing? What games have you been enjoying since you got it late last year?
First game I got was Animal Crossing.
Oh, yes, of course. 2020, the year of Animal Crossing. So are you one of these people that have put 50 hours, 100 hours, 200 hours, 1 hour?
Definitely more than one.
Probably between 50 and 100, I'd say.
Yeah,
I
very
did
nice.
play a lot of it over Christmas when I got it. And then a friend of Ash's lent me Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
And as
Oh,
soon as I started playing that took up.
yeah.
Yeah.
What a gentleman. What a gentleman. Should thank your friend.
Took me quite a while because she had it for a long time before she started playing it. I kept being like, have you started Breath of the Wild yet?
I'm just been watering my daisies, Ash. I don't have time to save Hyrule.
Basically. I think as well, within like the first 2 weeks of her having Animal Crossing, she had more hours on it, and she got it for Christmas last year, so December 2020. I got Animal Crossing at launch.
Yep.
Within 2 weeks, she had more hours on it than I did, so she played it quite a lot at the start.
That's impressive. Did you have any downtime because of COVID, or were you still going to work?
I had 3 weeks off over Christmas, but otherwise it was back
Yeah,
to work
okay.
as normal. So
Yeah, because that's like the story with a lot of people. They're just like, oh, well, I got no work and I got a new life in this little village.
I wish.
Anyway, I keep interrupting, sorry.
It's all good. So, Breath of the Wild, you got into that.
Oh yeah, big time.
How did you enjoy that?
I haven't finished it yet because I was determined to finish all of the shrines before I went to fight Ganon.
Yes, that's a big one.
Yeah, and I think I finished all of the main content shrines, but then I got the DLC.
Yeah.
And so now I'm going through all of those shrines still before fighting Ganon. And I know I could probably just fight Ganon, but I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Completion.
Because, you'll end up fighting Ganon, then you'll see the credits, you're like, oh, I'm done. And you'll put it aside.
No, I don't want to be done.
Yeah.
I want to do everything first and then finish the game. It just feels more natural.
Yeah. So you'll be doing a better job than me. I never went and did all the shrines and that.
Did you do any of the DLC stuff?
I did like the first pack. I didn't do too much of the second pack. I didn't get the Hyrule motorbike or.
Oh, that's the
I feel like
the
I
Master
should.
Cycle, I think.
Yeah, the
it's called.
Master Cycle. It's been long enough where I'm like,
I think
I'm ready to go back in. So
the greatest
I should.
moment of that game was in that second DLC.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, for me anyway, obviously it's personal preference, but yeah, there's a bit in that second DLC where I won't say what happens because you probably go to it eventually, but
Yeah.
when it was happening and I was watching, I was like, this is so cool. And the music was the best music I heard in the entire game too.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Now I definitely should because like we're sitting here being like, oh, when's Breath of the Wild 2? I've still got content in the other game from 2017 to play. So
On another note, those DLCs were so hard.
yeah, they were.
The Master Sword Shrine was the hardest one, I thought. The second one was still really difficult. But yeah, I raged so much in that Master Sword Shrine. I died on the final level of the final stage like 3 times. Oh, the third time I nearly cried.
Yeah, it's interesting because like with all the sort of conversation around Returnal on PlayStation at the moment, be like you go in, you die, you restart again. It's kind of what Breath of the Wild sort of did in that DLC.
Yeah, it is, I guess. I think that the Breath of the Wild one is probably more just... I don't know, because I've got Returnal and I've actually been playing that a little bit. I think the Breath of the Wild stuff was honestly probably harder.
Yeah.
But then I'm not really that far into Returnal. That could get much, much more difficult. It probably will.
I don't know about you, but Returnal's kicking my ass, so I can't talk.
I've only sat down with it twice, but both times I've played until I've died. The second time I played for quite a while until I died. And I died on the first boss, like the first actual boss, but I nearly beat it first go. I got like right towards the bottom of the last health bar. Yeah, it is definitely very difficult. It's pretty choreographed though. Once you work out the movements, it's one of those kinds of games. It's pretty easy to do it, but it just took me like that little bit too long, and I just didn't have enough health to get that last bit of the boss's health.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I was watching that. You were so close.
Oh, so close. But I was also not too bothered because like I'd started playing it early in the day, and then I went to pick her up from her place, and she came back to 9, and I was like, well, I got to keep playing this because if I lose if I turn it off, then I lose it. So I kept playing, and then I died. I was like, okay, cool. Now we can do something else.
Priorities.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you actually kept on going, you might not have been together today.
If I beat that boss, you would have been like, nah, I'm out.
That's the final straw. So Breath of the Wild, we're playing through at the moment.
Yep.
What else you been playing? I'm just curious because like I've been following like each game as it comes out, and like you sort of have time to process each game. But I could imagine like right now, if I got a Switch, I'm like, all right, where do I start? I'm just interested where like someone who got one a few months ago would start with the games. I'm happy that it's been Animal Crossing and Breath of the Wild so far.
Well, that's mostly thanks to Ash. So I got the Switch for Christmas, and the first game on it that he got for me was Animal Crossing. So I was like, well, that's where I'm going to start because that's what I've got. It was that and Mario Kart, which comes like
okay.
in,
Yep.
yeah.
Like every Switch bundle these days. Pretty hard to get a Switch without it.
Yeah. So it is actually hard to get a Switch without Mario Kart 8, isn't it?
When I was I bought it online, but when I was buying it, I think that it's not hard to get it without it, but it's the same price with it as it is without it. So it's why would you get it without it?
Yeah, because I never look at Switches in retail because, why would I have got one? But it's interesting looking at the sales for Mario Kart 8. It's sold like 35 million, and that might be why, because it's just
it's basically bundled, not with everyone, but it's like, why would you get it without it if you can get it with it? It's like the same price, and maybe like $5 or $10 more. It's like, what's the point?
It's like almost the Wii Sports for the Switch just comes with it. Yeah. I absolutely love Mario Kart 8. I think it's definitely my favorite Mario Kart. Now, how have you been finding it coming from the Wii one, being like the last one? We just like it's Mario Kart.
It's Mario Kart. I've loved all Mario Kart.
I was just so passionate about Mario Kart Wii because I was so excited for it. I was such a nerd about it. Like, I planned it came out like May of that year. I was like, all right, so when it comes out, I'm going to go down and buy it from EB Games. I'm going to come home. I'm going to play it. Really like planning out my weekend around it. And in the end, it was just such a disappointment for me because it was just like they introduced 12 players and they didn't balance it for that at all. There's mega mushrooms everywhere. You could once you're in first, you may as well just go back to the end without doing anything. It's just a clusterfuck. But yeah, Mario Kart 8, I think they fixed a lot of it. And it was a lot of fun. I absolutely love Mario Kart 8. But
I mean, I complain a lot about... I always say when you play Mario Kart, you get punished for being the better racer.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I can definitely remember back to the Wii when it was just like, why even bother trying?
Yeah.
You're basically just luck-based.
Well, at least now they put like the... I forgot what the item's called, but like the box that does an explosion and it sort of is the counter to the blue shells.
I don't know what it's called. I call it the music box.
Yeah, just...
Because it's like the sound box.
Yeah, just...
At least it's the sound waves.
Whatever it's called. We'll call it the music box. So that sounds about right. I like how they introduce a counter to a blue shell.
Yeah.
And just
so needed.
Yeah, they actually thought about it, I feel like, in the new one.
They're pretty rare to get them, but when you do, you're like, oh, I'm set. I'm safe.
Yeah.
And then you get hit by a lightning bolt and you lose it. So...
Yeah, so it all sort of like plays in its own little way, but there's always a sort of a counter to one because before it was just blue shell, just, I'm fucked.
Yeah, especially if you're like pretty close to the end of the race and there was someone right behind you, you're like, oh, I can't win.
Yeah, you can hear a blue shell come and be like, you go through an item box and like, oh, there's the potential. I need it real bad to get rid of this blue shell off my tail.
And then every now and then you get it and you're like, yes!
When you hold onto it and the lightning hits you and
then
back to square one.
That blue shell's still coming for you.
So what do you reckon your next purchase will be as far as a game, or borrow from Ash?
Good question. No, the big one on my radar was Pokemon Snap, which came out pretty recently, so I've got into that. Haven't even thought about my next one, to be honest. Ash, what are you getting me for me next?
Why don't you tell them about when you started playing Pokemon Snap?
What happened when I started playing Pokemon Snap?
When you didn't bring your Switch to my house?
Oh, so I made the mistake of thinking we'd spend some quality time together. So I didn't pack my Switch to stay at his place, which was a mistake.
I think it was what day did Pokemon Snap come out?
The 31st of April.
Was it a Thursday? Well, anyway, it was like a couple of days after Pokemon Snap had come out, and I had already bought it but hadn't played it.
Yeah.
And I didn't bring my Switch, and so he was watching footy, and he's like, "Oh, you can play my Switch if you want." I was like, and he's like, "I've got new Pokemon Snap," and I literally bolted upstairs. Like literally ran.
It was like Mark and I watching footy. It was like a blockbuster game. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
And then as soon as she started playing it, she didn't stop for the rest of the weekend.
I think I spent like a full 8 hours just on the Sunday alone, just playing Pokemon
And
Snap.
then went and bought it on her Switch. Had to start from the start.
From scratch.
Oh.
Again.
Oh.
Worth it.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. But at least you enjoyed playing through a second time, I guess. I guess that's a bit of a testament to how much you like taking pictures of a Mulga.
And I learnt a valuable lesson. Not spending quality time with him.
Always bring your Switch
Always bring
because
the Switch.
I'm boring and I like watching people kick things.
Yeah. You guys are standing there being like, yeah, no, that's a good kick. Yeah, that was a good kick. Oh, look at that handball. Really mixing stuff up this game, aren't they?
Oh, he even just tapped it.
Yeah. I like watching football too.
Do you watch much sport at all?
No, not really. I was going to watch the showdown with Port and the Crows the other day, and I didn't.
It was terrible anyway.
Well,
you didn't miss much.
Chantel had one of her friends over, and I was going to put it on, but I'm like, well, there's two girls here. Then this is going to bore them to tears. So we ended up watching some teen drama on Netflix together. And you know what? I probably enjoyed it just as much. You know, I'm that type of guy. I've got a soft heart. Bit too soft. Bit too squishy.
I watch like so much sport. I probably watch more sport now than I ever have.
Mm.
I'm just the opposite. I like watching people in pain. No, I don't know. It's a good pastime.
Yeah.
Especially when you're into more of it, you got more sports to pass your time if you're bored.
Are you playing any sports at the moment?
No, I was gonna play footy this season, but like I just haven't really had much of a chance. So I was down here for 2 weeks recently, and I've been in Adelaide for a wedding. I was in Perth for my sister's wedding, so I just haven't had a chance to be there to play any games really yet. And I was thinking about like going back last week, but the fees for this league are really expensive, and it's like halfway through the season. It's like now I don't want to pay the fees to only play half a season. And there's like heaps of guys there too, so people are missing every week. So I'd pay half a season and then not even play all the games. So I'm like,
yeah. I imagine that'd be harder in the city. There'll be a lot of competition.
Lots of people.
Because this year with soccer, there's been a lot of people come into town. And I'm like, I've actually going to have to work for a position this year. Like, usually it's just like, Drew, can you please play 2 games? Like, for the love of God, can you please play 2 games?
Yeah,
now it's going to be like, I might actually have to work for a position to kick a ball around.
Yeah, I remember Tom telling me a bit because he was playing for Millicent too.
Yeah,
The same thing happening with him. He'd finish one game, they'd be like, can you stick around for another game? And he was like, yeah, okay.
Actually excited. He's playing this year, I think. I'm led to believe.
Probably.
Yeah. Led to believe. All right. So, Ash, I want to come to a bit we talked about before the show. You put in our Discord that Triple J played the Wii channel music on their radio channel. So, basically, Triple J is an Australian radio channel run by the government here in Australia. I don't listen to it much, so I've actually got sort of...
It's owned and operated by the ABC, but the ABC is very regularly at odds with the government. I think if the government had their way, they'd shut it down.
Yeah.
Like the entire ABC, not just Triple J. But it's not that easy. They're their own entity, but they're government funded.
Scott Morrison must have loved this though. So they played the the Wii channel music on there. So what was that all about? Was it just someone put up a remix and they liked it? So they
No, it was the genuine music from the
just straight from the Wii.
Yeah, straight from the Wii Me channel. So what happened was they have this thing. They did it last year the first time because of COVID, because there were no music festivals happening. They did this thing called Requestival,
Oh, God. Yeah.
The entire week, like Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. until 9 p.m., they only played requests.
Right.
And it was mayhem. I don't really listen to Triple J very much anymore, but I listen to this when they do it. 'Cause Triple J is just not very good anymore. It used to be wicked. But yeah, when they do this, I listen because it's just mayhem and it's amazing.
That does sound pretty funny.
They played, because you never know what's going to come on. They play because they're very, very much against pretty much all the music that gets played on commercial radio. And one of their big things is that they hate Nickelback.
Yeah.
And they play Nickelback.
That's a pretty mainstream opinion. I don't know how hipster that is.
So I think that they hated Nickelback from the moment Nickelback became a thing. I think it's become more recent is the joke.
Oh, they're the trendsetters. Gotcha.
Apparently, in the beginning, they hated Nickelback because they thought they were a rip-off band of Pearl Jam. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but somebody told me that once. Anyway, yeah, they play Nickelback and it gets like so much hate on the text line. They're like, we don't care. We didn't put this on. You guys requested it. It's your fault. But yeah, they played the Me Channel theme, which was just, when it came on, I was like, no way. I was just at work grooving to the Me Channel theme. It was brilliant. Yeah.
I love it, man. I love the Wii music.
It's so good.
It's amazing how the original soundtrack of an operating system could be so groovy. I
know. You hear it now and you're just like, you still jam out to it. It's still good fun. It's just, you can't be unhappy while you're listening to that music.
Yeah, like the Wii shopping music when you're just thinking about putting up some Nintendo points. Maybe I'll download The Legend of Zelda for
like,
$7.
Trying to work out how many blocks equates to a megabyte.
Yeah. That was so annoying back in the day.
Why did they do that?
Because Microsoft did the same thing. They're like,
actually they did very early on.
Like you can buy a Super Meat Boy for, I don't know,
like 1,500 Microsoft points.
Yeah, which is like $21, and you can only buy $20 gift cards or whatever. So you have to buy like two. You have leftover money. And I remember when I got a PS3 and they're like, oh yeah, this game is $20. I'm like, oh thank God. Just at least someone's making sense out here. Holy shit.
I think back then, because Microsoft were just doing so much better, they could do what they wanted and they got away with it. Now it's the other way around. They've got to be the crowd pleasers.
Yeah, definitely. Like, oh, we'll give you all the games for free for $15 a month. Please care. Please care.
Well, it's worked on me.
It's worked on me too. I've got two of the goddamn things in my house now. Yeah.
Do you have two of them now?
Oh, I've got the Series S and the Series X.
Oh, I didn't know you have a Series X as well.
Yeah, man. I'm a big boy around here. There's no little boys.
I've only got the Series X, but yeah, I've played a lot. It's really good. I only just bought Subnautica yesterday, Below Zero. It's the first purchase I've had to make on the Xbox because everything's free.
Yeah.
But I bought it and I'm already addicted.
I played Subnautica on Game Pass. I think it was the first one because it was an easy achievement game.
Oh yeah,
because you can
see that.
You can actually go into the game and open up the dev menu and just unlock stuff.
Oh yeah, because I think you could do that with a few games. You could do that with Doom and stuff that's on there too.
Oh, can you? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought, I just felt like downloading some Game Pass games and going in just unlocking achievements. It's just what I was in the mood for, something easy. And it was an interesting way to sort of explore that game instead of like working out all the systems, because it's a very complicated game when you actually like look into it. You've got to like work out what to create, and it comes down to being pretty specific of what you actually have to do. So I was just like putting in dev codes and like teleporting places and go to like the final boss and like it's basically this entity explaining you how the universe operates. And I'm like, I've got no idea what the fuck you're on about. I just skipped 20 hours of your game. Sorry, dude. But yeah. Yeah,
no, it's just because it's kind of like a very scientific and more in-depth version of Minecraft, but it's like underwater.
Yeah.
It's kind of like No Man's Sky as well in a way, in that kind of way.
Yeah, that's a pretty good example. Like, yeah, it's not what I expected at all. I thought it was just going to be... I actually thought it was going to be like just, I'm going to go diving and I'm going to look at the fish. Sort of like Endless Ocean on the Wii, if you remember that game.
Oh, yeah. Endless Ocean was awesome. I loved that game.
I was actually kind of expecting that. Just be like, oh, yeah, there's a nice reef. Let me put it in my notebook. And I got something completely different.
I remember, this is such a throwback. I remember you could play music while you were playing Endless Ocean through the SD card on the Wii.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But for some reason... I can't remember what was the max size SD card you could have on the Wii?
Not sure. I think it was like, it would have been like 2 or 4 gig.
Okay, but for whatever reason, I'm
Maybe.
pretty sure that the max size SD card that was compatible for playing music through Endless Ocean was like 512 megabytes or something.
Yeah, right.
And I'm pretty sure back then, when I was just a bad kid that used to pirate everything,
No, we all were, Ash.
I had like FLAC stuff, which was like flawless loss of audio content, so it made the files.
Oh,
really,
Jesus.
Made the files really big, so I only had 2 songs on that SD card. I can't remember what one of them was, but I listened to Fat Lip by Sum 41 while playing as Endless Ocean about 60 times
Yeah,
when I was probably about 13.
because I remember there was I can't remember if it was an update or it was there all along, but they had like your standard SD cards, then they had like your high capacity SD cards. I think
SDHCs?
Yeah, compatibility for that came later, but maybe for those games that couldn't receive updates, they never got the
Yeah, that might have been
capability
what it was,
with those
yeah.
SD cards. Because I did the same thing, but with Excite Truck. If you remember a game called
I
Excite
had
Truck,
that, yeah.
it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's just like it's kind of it was pretty much a sequel to Excite Bike, but it's like you're controlling it with motion controls. So it's a lot of fun. So I put music on playing that game, and yeah, it was quite a novelty.
I remember, did you ever used to play like the MX versus ATV games?
No.
Well, they always had like really good soundtracks, and my mum got me one on the Wii once. I can't remember why. It was probably for a birthday or something. And I played a bit of it. The game itself wasn't like, it just the MX versus ATV games got very bad very quick, and I played it like quite a bit just because the soundtrack on it was so good. That's actually where I found that band Reliant K.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's just funny how games and music can just go so hand in hand.
Yeah, definitely. Like without that music, it just you got no tone. All you guys like the bike at me. It's like no atmosphere to it apart from that. Especially with like graphics back then, it couldn't like pull a game through like it might these days. Yeah,
Yeah, very much.
yeah. Like I know you played like a heap of Guitar Hero. Did you play much Guitar Hero, Katie?
Played a
or
little bit, yeah, back
Yeah.
in the day.
were you shredding? Were you like on easy or you're on extreme?
I think there was like one song
Expert.
I could play really well, and that was about it.
Yeah.
Was it Strutter by Kiss? That was usually the first song everyone could play on hard.
I think it was Cliffs of Dover.
That was like one of the hardest songs. That's by Eric
that was
Johnson.
that was the one song I could play well. Yeah.
That's an
Yeah, I could
instrumental. That
smash
guy
that.
was in G3. He's like one of the best guitarists in the world.
Well, that was the one song that I could
Put
do.
all your gameplay towards that
Pick
one
that
song.
one song, yeah.
I could 100% My Name is Jonas by Weezer.
Oh,
Expert.
yes. Oh, yeah. I didn't listen to much Weezer at all, but just that one song through Guitar Hero. Just like I just remember just the bars like my name is Jonas, like just doing it like that. That was actually really cool.
Thanks for all you've shown us. Oh, what a song.
Oh, I bet when they were in the just in the studio writing that, they're like, oh, that's a fucking genius, dude.
If you like, Weezer are kind of a joke band, but also kind of serious. So they're probably exactly like that. They were like, "That's wicked." We're like, "Yeah, just being idiots."
Yeah, like I've listened to them, but I've never really got into them that much.
They're pretty good. I saw them with the Foo Fighters. They supported them once when I saw them. Really good live.
Yeah, because I used to play a heap of Guitar Hero. That was like my favorite rhythm game. But I think it kind of shows how I've grown up. So my favorite rhythm game these days, since playing it on PS Vita, is the Hatsune Miku rhythm game. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with these.
I have seen them and never played them. I think I downloaded like a tech demo once, just seeing the word demo and thinking it was going to be free for the PSVR. That was like a live Hatsune Miku concert. And I put on my VR headset and I had no idea what it was going to be. And I'd started it up and I was like, what the hell am I looking at? And it wasn't even a game. It was just a concert.
Just a VR experience, yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea. But no, I don't think I've ever actually played any of the games.
Yeah, no, because it came out on Switch last year, a couple of years ago, and I noticed that there's some DLC out for it. It was like $45 for like a big pack of songs. I'm like, yeah, why not? Here's $45, and I was playing it again. I absolutely love the game. Basically, it's just like symbols come over the screen. There's like a music video in the background. And symbols are coming over the screen for A, B, X, Y, and you just press them in time of what what they come across as. So it's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend it if anyone's after like a rhythm game. But yeah,
I don't think since like Guitar Hero, I don't think I've really played much. I played a bit of what's the game that Cadence of Hyrule is based on? Crypt of the Necro Dancer.
Oh,
I played
yeah.
a fair bit of that, but because I'm like, I know you are as well. We both played music. You played the drums. I played bass.
Mm-hmm.
Bass and drums are meant to be the backbone and the rhythm sections of the band. I just couldn't wrap my head around the rhythms of those games and couldn't do it properly.
Yeah, because I went into it thinking like, yeah, I've got rhythm, and I'm like, oh my god, Drew, have you lost it? What's going
That's
on?
exactly what I was doing. I was like, how am I getting this so wrong? I should be nailing it. And yeah, I think maybe that was why I didn't play much of it, because I didn't get it straight away when I thought I would because of my background. I got frustrated. Probably a pretty unfair way to look at the game. I should have actually practiced.
It feels a bit insulting, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but no, I don't think I've played much in the way of rhythm games since Guitar Hero, to be honest.
Yeah. I know Bryce, we've talked about it a lot on the show, but he's hacked his Wii U, so he's put like all the Guitar Heroes on the back on it, and I'm like, oh, that sounds like fun. Go around there and pretend we're 12 again. I always used to go around to his house, play Guitar Hero 3 and Brawl and all that type of stuff, and man, I don't know. Should I go back to those days? I don't think I should. I
think that they're nostalgic for a reason. They should probably stay nostalgic.
Yeah, because I go over there and Bryce is just like, and he can't talk to me because he's concentrating. So like, some days like, it is a pretty boring game to watch to someone like.
Oh yeah, it's a very boring game to watch. Because every time you're watching someone, you're like, I just want to be playing it, not watching.
It feels pretty sick when you're nailing it. Like, yeah, you feel like you're the coolest dude, but then you just like sort of zoom out from your body and just.
Yeah, nobody that's watching is like, oh man, he's so cool right now.
I thought that South Park episode absolutely nailed it. Anyone that's seen it, it's just like
I'm not going to repeat what is said, but yeah.
Just like the world record holder or whatever. It's just like this big nerd.
Oh, is it where he's playing the songs acoustically?
Yes,
guitar.
That was
and
amazing.
Everybody at the restaurant's like, oh hey, I love this song. They start clapping along. It's just going.
Oh man, I miss South Park too. I miss a lot of things.
South Park's not very good anymore.
No.
It's like they're just being overly offensive on purpose and they're trying to get cancelled.
Yeah, right.
That's what it's like now. It's kind of just not even that funny.
Yeah, well, it'd be pretty easy for them to get cancelled these days.
You'd think so. They're more offensive than ever and they're still going.
You're just like, this person, I don't like them. So
that's pretty much what it's like these days, isn't it? You can't say anything.
Not Randy jumped around on his ballsack and trying to get testicle cancer to get money from the government for marijuana or whatever it was. Yeah, just ridiculous.
Oh, well, they did a COVID special that was all about him selling marijuana, and it was just, that episode was bizarre.
That's a good way to put the show. Bizarre.
Very bizarre.
Yeah.
Very funny, though. My favourite episode was always the Inception episode. If you've seen that one.
I don't know if I have.
Every time when the professionals show up, the Dream Inceptors, every time they show up, they walk through a door, they're like shooting through the door, and then they close the door, and then it's just normal. And then every time they start explaining something, one of the other guys will be like,
yeah, okay, I think that rings a bell. I must have seen it, but yeah, it's been years since I've seen it.
Anyway, bit of a tangent. Classic House of Mario thing.
Yeah, you've got to bring some tangents in. Bryce isn't here, so I've got the goose button here for you. So,
and I am even named the goose in the Discords.
Yeah, well, you named yourself the goose.
Or the goose.
Double goose. All right, so let's jump into some news, guys. Not too much this week. Then we'll open the doors to some other housemates to come in and be a lot of fun. All right, so make sure I get the right button here. I think it's this one. Yes, it is.
Is that all?
I fight for my friends.
My body is still.
All right, so we've got some brand new Mario Golf Super Rush information. I remember the name because now I'm reading it. All I remember was Mario Golf for the Switch at the very start. Because at the start, if you any podcasters out there, you'll be like, you got all this stuff in your head, but you can't remember just the last bit for the name. What's so funny, Ash? Are you laughing at me, mate?
Just you saying I've remembered the name because now I'm reading. Of course you would remember the name.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's really not that funny, but it really got me.
Don't know how I feel about that at all, Ash. So, Mario Golf is coming up quick. It's coming out on the 25th of June this year, and we've got a few more details from Nintendo in a 5-minute trailer, and we'll go through some of them. But first of all, are you guys looking forward to Mario Golf? Is this something you're interested in, or is it something like we'll see reviews or anything like that?
To be honest, I've never played a Mario Golf game. I think I played the Nintendo 64 one once, and I had no idea what I was doing, so it wasn't that enjoyable. It's something I'll definitely look into, though. I might still get it. I never got the tennis game because I did look into that, and personally, I just thought it looked a bit boring.
Yes. Yes, it was.
I actually like tennis as well, but I wouldn't get a tennis video game in any form. The Mario one looked more exciting than other tennis games.
Oh, yeah. Just normal tennis games, like based on real tennis. I couldn't even think about purchasing one of them. But like even like golf, like the actual like proper golf games, they are fun.
Yeah, no, that's a golf game is definitely one of the, because they're just very accessible. They're very easy, because I have this theory that just most sports games do not translate into video games because they're just too difficult to get right. I think FIFA and then golf games are probably, and racing games as well, obviously, but I sort of wouldn't count them in the same vein. They're just so hard to get right and to be entertaining.
Yeah, like FIFA nails it. I think some of the AFL games here in Australia, they kind of miss it a bit.
I think that they're just severely underfunded and underproduced, though, like underdeveloped.
Yeah, underfunded, and just like the physics for like an oval ball, it would be so much harder to get right. Like it's a bit ridiculous. You need like a huge budget just to do the physics.
And the rules in that game are so nuanced. Like they're very interpretive, and interpretive rules don't work in a video game.
No. What about you, Katie? Are you looking at Mario Golf at all, or are you sort of just like, yeah, whatever, see if Ash buys it for me?
I mean, look, you're not wrong.
She'll wait for me to buy it, play it for 8 hours, and then decide.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, I've never played Mario Golf I've never played any golfing game that I can think of. So, yeah, not really up my alley. But yeah, if Ash gets it, I'll definitely give it a crack.
Yeah.
I think that actually, as far as sports games go, you'd probably really enjoy it. It's just like, it's really easy to get into because everybody understands golf. It's easy to play. And yeah, it's a sports game that anyone can play. It's not something that you have to really get good at to be any kind of good. So I just got the NHL game, which is on Game Pass because I follow the NHL. It's so hard. I just like, you'd have to spend 100+ hours to even pass as an amateur in that game. Yeah,
I downloaded Madden on Game Pass actually, and I've heard about Madden a lot from the American podcast and that I listen to. I'm like, you know what? It's for free. I'll download it. I just want to see what it's about because I like FIFA. That's a lot of fun to play, and I boot up Madden like with the tutorials and like you can like do different like maneuvers and stuff. I'm like, I've never watched this sport in my life. What the fuck is going on? I thought it'd just be like throwing the ball around and like throw it into the goal. Yes, I win. But no, it was very, very complicated. I'm like, yes.
So like the NHL game, most of it is pretty simple, but then you get to this thing called deking, which is their abbreviation of like decoy. And that's apparently 80% of the video game. They don't do it that much in the actual sport, but in the video game, that's how you play it. And it's so complex. Just like doing stick maneuvers and then pressing buttons in certain ways and then flicking back, but you have to do them all.
Oh, right.
Like at the right time and in the right order and everything. It's just so hard to do. I couldn't pass the tutorial.
Because I would assume it would just be like FIFA, just passing the puck around.
It is, that's what a lot of it is. But then, like, the deking goes into, like, I think there's advanced and then very advanced. I couldn't even do the advanced deking. Or maybe I got stuck on the last one of the normal one. Anyway, sorry. Derailed again.
No, you're right, man. I've never heard about deking in my life. So everyone got a good deke in the house scenario. So we'll go through some of the dot points that went throughout the trailer. So it talked about sort of the controls in the game. You can use motion controls or button controls. It's good that motion controls are in there because it sort of opens up to a more casual party setting, which I might play. I don't know. Who knows? I haven't used motion controls on the Switch for a while now. We've got brand new characters in the game.
I did see this.
So one of my favorites is King Bob-omb from Mario 64. Very excited to have King Bob-omb in there. Other ones is Chuck, Charge and Chuck from Mario World. If you remember, like the football player enemies. Yeah. So Charge and Chuck's in there, and I think they're the two noticeable ones. I don't have a list in front of me. I don't think. Pauline's there. From,
is she?
Yeah, so that's pretty cool from Mario Odyssey and the original Donkey Kong, obviously. So yeah, pretty cool characters. I'm just gonna play as Yoshi anyway, so it doesn't really matter. There's going to be 6 courses in the game, and a lot of people are sort of a bit concerned about it because it's not very much compared to maybe even the 3DS game. I haven't played Mario Golf before either. I've never really been interested in it until this one. I'm actually keen to play this one just because of the online side of things. Hopefully, they actually haven't said anything about tournaments, and tournaments were in the 3DS version, where you could like set up a tournament and you can play any time of the day and your scores are just compared to one another. You don't have to play at the same time. So it's actually a pretty convenient game where you don't have to actually line up like your play sessions together. So that is honestly what interested me the most, but there's been sort of no mention of online tournaments. It's just been 4-player play a round of golf type of thing. So it's a little bit concerning in that front. If it's not there, hopefully it's not too far away. But
yeah, so when I've heard you talk about this game, it's always been the thing that you've said is that you're keen for those tournaments because you could set one up even for the Discord and we could all jump in and just play when we can.
Yeah, because that's the hardest thing. Like, I would love to play with you guys more, but it's just it's not really doable a lot of the time because I'm ready at 8 o'clock and other people have got family commitments or whatever you have you. So
live in different time zones, different countries. But then that would be like really good. I didn't know that wasn't good. Hadn't been touched. To be honest,
there's just been no mention of it. And like they're going into like all these details, but there's nothing about an actual tournament, which is like that is like a thing they'll put their hand up and say, "Hey, this big online tournament feature is there," because it was there with Mario Kart and a few other, even Smash Brothers. You can do tournaments and stuff. So yeah, it's just weird that it's not here. There's Battle Golf. This actually looks pretty cool. So Battle Golf is a more frantic variation of Speed Golf. 9 holes are in play at the same time. The first player to score 3 holes claims victory, so it's key to stay ahead of opponents or risk losing out. And in the trailer, it basically shows like there's this big sort of stadium, and it looks like an esports stadium, and it's just people running around trying to hitting each other with bob-ombs and items, and trying to get as many holes as possible. So there's like not taking turns at all. And hopefully it has like the same fun sort of effect that Mario Kart like battle mode has, where you're just going around popping people's balloons. It looks like that, just running around getting holes in golf. So fingers crossed that's awesome.
I used to love battle mode in Mario Kart 64. I didn't think it worked as well in the later ones, but Mario Kart 64 battle mode. This
is what happened with Mario Kart battle mode. When they introduced online Mario Kart Wii, they said, "All right, we can't have a battle go on forever." So they put a time limit on it. Time limits on Mario Kart Battle Mode killed it. Because the funnest thing in Mario Kart 64 was a block fort, and and like 2 people are out, they're gone, and you've got 2 people left. And it's just like a hunt for one another.
And would go for so long.
And like it sounds so dumb, like, oh, a Mario Kart Battle Royale. You're like, okay, there's been Fortnite, Apex Legends, PUBG, all of this stuff. Like, of course, Nintendo's going to jump on with, their own version. It's like, that sounds pretty dumb. But if all it is pretty much adding more players into battle mode and removing the time limit. That's all it would be doing if they added a battle royale mode. So that is honestly what I want Nintendo to do as far as like a battle royale mode. I want Mario Kart to be that version.
That's pretty much exactly what I would want as
because
well.
Because then it gets
so much better.
It gets down to the final 2 people, and that is the most fun aspect of Mario Kart battle mode.
Very exhilarating. Yeah. Your adrenaline is pumping by that point.
And like the last decade of Mario Kart battle modes have just had that gone. Like it wasn't there. You had like, I've got 9 points and there's 5 seconds left. Oh, I wonder if I got it. Oh no, the other guy had 10 points. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the end of the battle. And just
Balloon Life was much better.
So I'm not sure. Let me just read this battle mode. It doesn't say any. It didn't say anything about time. So like, if
I guess if it's like to get most holes, you'd think it would have to be time limit.
yeah, it must be a time limit. Yeah. So yeah, there's the battle mode. There's speed golf, which they shown off in the actual initial announcement of the game. We're actually trying to get to the last hole as fast as possible. That looks like a lot of fun too. Hopefully that turns out to be a fun mode. There's a battle, battle golf, standard golf.
I like how they have to put a descriptor in there for standard golf.
Yeah, what is standard golf? In standard golf, everyone's strokes counts, and the lowest score wins. Well, there you go. That's golf.
Now everybody knows how to play that game.
So there's also an adventure mode called Golf Adventure. Solo players can go from rookie to pro when enrolling their Mii character at the prestigious country club in Golf Adventure. When interacting with familiar Mushroom Kingdom characters, they can learn how to play and take on a variety of challenges. Gaining experience makes it possible to level up the character, which can then be used in multiplayer modes. So cool. So I'm looking forward to this game, but it's definitely one of those games that I think people on a budget or whatever should wait to reviews for. Because
That's what I'm going to do.
Mario Tennis looked awesome when it was like first announced and they had trailers coming out. They had like, it's got an adventure mode, it's got all these characters in it, it's got online tournaments. It's like, wow, this game looks awesome. And I bought it sort of soon as possible. And it's probably the biggest disappointment on the Switch, as far as I'm concerned, because I buy all my Nintendo games through the eShop because I know I won't be selling them back. But probably Mario Tennis was the only one where I'm like, if I had a physical copy, I probably would, trade it on because it just sort of it didn't hold my attention. And a lot of other people that were really excited for it sort of lost their attention too. So hopefully Mario Golf doesn't turn into that, but it kind of feels like it, that it might just with don't know. It really needs a tournament mode. There is no way a golf game can come out and not have a tournament mode. So we'll keep our eyes locked onto that one.
See, I think for me, just like the tennis games and the golf games have just never really seemed to be like, they've never had as much clout. They've never been as big until these ones.
Yeah.
These ones were just marketed a lot more, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I just ignored the other ones, but...
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't had that much history with the series, but I think like 64, GameCube are really highly regarded. The 3DS one, people loved as well. Yeah, so
I was just having a look. You need to check your email.
I've got a lot of emails. Yeah, I get a lot of junk, and I just don't open them, and I don't know. Don't know. How many emails do you have open on your phone, Ash?
I think mine's clean. I've got no unread emails on mine. I keep mine very tidy because it makes me anxious when I don't know what has been sent to me. I could miss something very important in there.
You could.
Most of the time it's spam, but...
I've got a lot of spam, Ash. Way too much spam. Oh, God, it makes me sad.
Stare from the distance.
Yeah. Oh, man, too much spam. Anyway, speaking of spam, Nintendo's announced a brand new Amiibo for the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, and it's actually a really nice looking Amiibo. So it's a Loftwing and Princess Zelda standing together, and it's a really, really nice looking Amiibo. I don't know if you've seen it there, Katie. That's the Amiibo they're bringing out.
That is nice looking.
Along with the game. So the thing is, the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, I like the game. Amazing story, amazing sort of music and everything. It was just sort of... It's the game where you know how Breath of the Wild changed things so much for the series. Skyward Sword was the game which made fans go, all right, for fuck's sakes, guys, just do something about this formula. It's killing us. It's just so formulaic. It's not funny.
Yeah.
Did you play much of the game, Skyward Sword?
I played a bit of it. Honestly, I can't remember why I stopped playing it, but I think after I got out of it's Skyloft, isn't it? After I got out of there, I got to the first area, and I can't even remember if I completed the first area because I just got bored. For me, the funnest part was in Skyloft. That was different. It was cool. You were flying around in the sky. That was nice. And then you just get dropped on the land, and you're running around doing the same old thing. And I think by that point because that was, I think, a bit later on in the Wii life, I was just really over motion controls. and didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I never finished it. I probably will get this and play it just because I never finished it.
Yeah,
But
I reckon you should. Anyone that hasn't played it, I think it's worth getting. It's just go into it knowing that there's a lot of, like, you do a dungeon, you do a certain sequence of events, then it says rinse, repeat. Like, you know exactly what's going to be coming up after you do a dungeon. You know exactly what's going to be happening after you do a trial. You know what's going to be happening here. Like, but along there is absolutely amazing sort of writing and backstory into the Legend of Zelda and why Link is who he is, why Zelda is who she is, why Ganondorf and his descendants are who they are, and how the Triforce originated in that. It's absolutely an amazing story, and I definitely recommend playing it. But I played through it once, and I'm sort of like, when they announced the HD collection or just HD version, I'm like, am I going to play it again? And I probably will, because I do this podcast. But if I didn't do the podcast, I honestly probably pass up on it. But regardless, the Amiibo looks really nice. But there's a bit of stirred up a few Nintendo fans because the Amiibo itself looks really nice, but the functionality in the actual game itself is sort of stirring people up because
is it an item? Because that's what a lot of Amiibos.
No, it's not an item. So in the game, you're in Skyloft in the sky, and you go down to the bottom, the land of Hyrule, and on the actual land of Hyrule, we've actually got to go to statues to actually teleport back up, fly back up.
Oh, I see.
But with the Amiibo, you can just tap it and you can do it anywhere. So you can be in dungeons, just anywhere. So it gives you a lot more flexibility and makes things a lot faster to go between Skyloft and the land. And people are like, you know what, this will be a great feature just to have in a HD version, not tied to a bit of plastic. You got to tap on your thumbstick every single time. And I can see that. Like,
I definitely get that. It's like you shouldn't have to pay for better game accessibility and functionality.
Yeah, and I think for the most part, Nintendo does get it right with their Amiibo functionality. Like, whether it's just costumes or there's things like Captain Toad on Wii U. It unlocks like some other missions and stuff, but it wasn't too big. I think like this one in particular is a bit of a misstep, and there was a Metroid Samus Returns as well, where I think one of the Amiibos unlocked hard mode. It's like,
oh yeah,
it's like really that shouldn't be locked behind anything. But for me personally, it's just, even if I do buy this, I don't want to be tapping it every single time.
Yeah, that's annoying. You should just be able to have it as a menu option. Maybe tap it once and it unlocks the menu option. It's still annoying that you'd have to buy it, but it's better than...
Yeah, because I
left it in the other room. Now I have to walk over to that room so that I can teleport back to Skyloft.
Yeah, because I can imagine just like sitting there like, oh, I want to go back up. Like, oh, where's my Amiibo? And your kid's got it chewing on Zelda's head. You're like, oh, God.
Or if you're like not at home, but you've left the Amiibo at home. Oh, what a nightmare. Yeah, it's definitely, I can see how that would rub people the wrong way. For sure. All
right, so Ash, next up is some updates for Nintendo Switch Online. They've added some brand new Super Nintendo and NES games, but I'm going to get you to read this and talk and have you guys discuss if you know any of these, because I personally don't, because I've got to sort out some stuff for the Discord to bring them in.
Okay, so the first one that we've got on the list here is Super Baseball Simulator 1.0, not 1000. Is that meant to be 1.0? 1.000? Yeah, I don't understand why it's 1.000. Anyway, yeah, I have never heard of that. Not a big fan of baseball either, if I'm going to be quite honest. That's the picture. Oh, it actually says 1.000 on the box art.
Yeah, it must be called that.
That's an interesting name. No, I've never heard of that one, and I'm not the biggest fan of baseball, but it looks like some of those really old sports games are actually really fun because they're just so funny. Funnily enough, actually, as well, they did this thing with the NHL when they made NHL 21, which is the one I started playing. They remade NHL 94, but with the current rosters of every team.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
I got that as well, and I was playing that. And I had so much more fun with that than I did with 21 because it was just so funny. It was such a mess. The game is awful, but I had so much fun. I didn't know what was happening most of the time because I was laughing so hard. But yeah, so that could actually potentially be really fun. Caveman Ginger, also known as Joe and Mac.
I mean Ninja. Caveman
What did I say?
Ginger.
Yes, I did mean ninja. It's not just a redhead person walking through a cave. Never heard. Have you heard of that one?
Nope, never heard of it. Never played it.
This was more your era.
I thought I would be all over this, but no, I've never heard of these titles.
Yeah.
I think I actually have heard of Spanky's Quest.
Yeah, that's the one that I was like, I might have heard of it.
I recognise the box art. The dinosaur thing that's on the Joe and Mac box art looks like Reptar from Rugrats. Anyway, the other ones we got Magical Drop 2, Spanky's Quest. They're all SNES games, and the one NES game is Ninja Jar Jar Maru-kun. Never heard of that one either. So no, I haven't heard of any of them. I've potentially heard of Spanky's Quest, but I don't know it by name.
Yeah, because sort of the Nintendo community that like, oh yes, brand new games are coming out for Switch Online. Is it going to be Mario RPG? Is it going to be Earthbound? They're sort of like the big games were sort of waiting to come to the service. And then the list comes out, you're like, Spanky's Quest? Like, I'm sure some of these games would be great, and there'll be like a handful of people out there that had really great experiences with them, and are stoked to see them come to the Switch Online, but it's sort of some big hitters out there yet to come to it, and we're sort of still waiting because every 3 months or so we get a new update of 5 games, and it turns out to be like this list. But I also do appreciate that Nintendo aren't just like we've got Legend of Zelda, we've got Mario, we got Earthbound and all that, but and that's it. At least there are some like random games like people haven't heard of, and even if
sometimes you play them and you find hidden gems.
There might be hidden gems, but Nintendo are like, you know what, this isn't too bad. We're going to get the rights to it. But
I'm telling you, play Baseball Simulator when it comes, because it's probably going to be hilarious.
Yeah, Baseball Simulator. You got to play Spanky's Quest.
Yeah, Spanky's
just for the name alone. Like the box art, is it a monkey?
Yeah, I think it's a monkey.
Monkey, and there's like a pineapple with glasses and an apple and a. What the hell is going on?
Veggie Tales.
And he's eating a banana, and there's live fruit in the background. Jesus. But the banana doesn't.
All the fruit is just laughing and smiling.
Yeah, the banana doesn't seem to be sentient. At least there's no eyes on it.
Yeah, no, that's for the best, I think. What if it were sentient and they were still laughing and smiling?
This is sadistic monkey just chowing down on this poor banana. No, I'll try it. Spanky's Quest. I got to.
Do you ever see things like this when Nintendo bring new games and you look at it and you go, Nintendo at some points, at some times, have got to be trolling us?
I wouldn't be surprised, actually. Could you imagine someone at Nintendo like, oh god, it's that time again. We've got to chuck some games on the service. They're just going through like an emulator site. Spanky's Quest,
and somebody's like that works at Nintendo's like, what the hell is Spanky's Quest?
No, I'll play. I'll definitely play that, I reckon.
Yeah, I'll probably play a few of them just to see what they are. I don't know that I'll get past the first level on many of them, but yeah, I'll definitely give them a go.
Well, I think that's all the news. So what I want to do is I want to open the doors to some people in our Discord community, but I've got to organise it. I don't know if they're there that yet. You open the doors and you got to wait for like a breeze to come.
It's like
through.
when you have a party or something and you make an event and you start it at 6 p.m. Very seldom is there anyone there at 6 p.m.
Yeah, all the cool kids come about 7.
The very cool ones there at like 9:30.
Oh gosh, I was so confident at the start of the day.
Oh, I've got YouTube playing on the background for some reason. I was like, what the hell is happening here?
Yeah, I heard that and I was like, oh, is that someone joined?
It's funny because I had I was watching a Pokemon card unboxings by Ando on YouTube.
I was like, somebody's excited to be here.
Yeah, especially with like the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music in the background. I'm like, what the hell has this person got going on?
Lock it in, Eddie.
Oh, we've got Mettadox coming in though. I'll make sure. He says, mind if I jump in? And I'll say, come on in, mate.
Oh, thanks for the.
Well, there is.
My brain's running a little slow tonight, boys.
Oh, well, that's no good, Meta. You need your brain turned up to 11 on the House of Mario. Because my brain's only
Very
at
big
7,
brain
so
show.
someone has to make up for it.
Well, my brain's always running
Yeah,
a
oh,
solid 2, maybe 2.5.
2.5. Katie's is 9, so that's okay.
She doesn't even need to tell us it's that high. She's transcended speech.
So anyone that doesn't know Meta, he's a massive part of our community in the House of Mario Discord community. So Meta, welcome to the show once again.
I've been on plenty of times. Hello.
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 Yeah.
I
Hello.
think this would be the first time we've ever spoken in a voice medium. It's always been just talking on the Discord. So very nice to
Yeah.
talk to you for the first time.
Yeah. Likewise. I don't. Yeah. No. Now that I think of it, I've never. To be fair, I haven't talked to a lot of people.
it's best
in
not
the
to.
Discord over voice.
Especially when they're at the 2.5. So what about you? Are you excited to play Baseball Simulator 1.000 from the SNES?
Or are you going to be more of a Spanky's Quest man?
Ooh, you have to be a bit of a Spanky's Quest man, wouldn't you, Meta? Hey?
The more I hear Spanky's Quest, the
I
more...
think I skipped a few pages. I haven't. I don't know what's going on.
The more I hear Spanky's Quest, the more I think it's just
the
an innuendo, and Nintendo were
the
definitely
SNES
trolling us.
games.
Testing 1, 2.
Oh, hello.
There we go. Now we can hear you.
Oh, well, knock, knock.
Oh.
The doors are open.
Yeah, welcome to the house party, Wacko Jacko. We're back once again. How you going?
I joined in before Meta, and yeah, no one heard me.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
It doesn't matter. You just random me. That's fine. It's all good. How brain ratings 2.5? Is that what
Yeah, that's the goose. 2.5 is the max setting. It's not what I'm at the moment. I'm more at a 1.7.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
6. So.
And I'm running in the negatives.
So, guys,
I'm like solid 0.7, maybe. Yeah. Sorry, Drew.
oh, that's okay. You know, fucking all right. Bloody guest comes in here, talks over me. So I want to talk a little bit about Skyward Sword. It's coming out in a bit over 2 months or so. So Wacko and Meta, have you guys played Skyward Sword on the Wii?
No, but I have seen lots of gameplay of it.
Mm-hmm.
I have not. But I kind of knew that they were going to do it HD. So I held it off.
Oh,
I held off.
I think like
he held off for 10 years.
I
Held
knew
off.
I knew that like when it was
Yeah.
the Zelda thing and that it wasn't going to be a collection to begin with, at least. Hopefully they still do one. And I knew it was going to be Skyward Sword, but I really wanted them to just do Wind Waker again. I wanted it on the Switch so
I
bad.
really want Wind Waker on Switch.
Not Wind Waker, please. We don't need a third version of
Yeah,
Wind Waker.
it's funny because with the announcement trailer, I actually recorded my reaction to it, and I just see the blue sky. I'm like, yes, Wind Waker. When the music starts and like the Loftwing flies, I'm like, oh fuck.
Oh, that's funny.
Classic.
It's kind of funny because we've had 2 versions of Twilight Princess on the GameCube and the Wii, and now we've got a the Wind Waker, which was on GameCube.
Widowmaker.
Overwatch did come to Switch.
Zelda Widowmaker.
Or husband.
You had Wind Waker on GameCube, the Wii U, the HD remake, and I mean, people were hoping for it to be on the Switch as well. I guess I don't know.
I certainly was, yeah. It's just I don't have the Wii U anymore, and I still want to play Wind Waker. I've finished it like 4 times.
You have a Wii U.
Yeah, it's bricked.
Like my first time playing was on the HD remake on the Wii U, and I didn't mind it, but like with Pokemon Mega Ruby, too much water.
Only a 7.8 for you then?
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of like pirates and sailing and stuff. Like I really like Sea of Thieves. I really like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. So I love Wind Waker.
Yeah. I'm getting back into the whole like ocean pirates thing. I've started reading One Piece. That's a beast. That's gonna be so long.
God.
So I'm kind of in the mood for
Longest running
for
anime
a
of
Wind
all
Waker
time now, and it's still
HD.
going.
Yeah, no.
Ooh.
I'm buying and reading the books, like the manga though. So,
So I have a question. I have a question about Twilight Princess. Then there was they're releasing 2 amiibos or whatever, but apparently there's a lot of controversy because apparently all that those amiibos do is help you fast travel. Was that correct?
wait, 2 amiibo?
I think I saw there was a post about 2
No.
amiibo, or was it just one?
No, it was just one with
one amiibo.
Zelda and the
Yeah,
Loftwing.
it's got
Okay.
2 figures in the one amiibo.
And literally all it does is let you fast travel. Is that all it does?
Yes.
It lets you fast travel.
And so without
From
the
any
amiibo, you
point?
can't fast travel.
You can still fast travel just from
Oh.
certain points,
Okay.
rather than just wherever. I think.
Right. Because I saw someone have like a big issue about like, oh, why can you only fast travel when you buy the amiibo? That's like you have to buy $30 item just to, do something that should be already part of the game. So I don't know.
Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I think that is quite ridiculous.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, with some remakes of games that they do, they should be adding like elements or features of things that you should have been able to do in the first game, but then it's like make it easier in the remake.
It reminds me
'Cause,
of
like-
when the Pokemon Let's Go games first came out, and the only way you could get Mew was by getting the Pokeball controller.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Pokeball Plus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I bought it
I'm-
because I'm a sucker, but it really rubbed me the wrong way.
Same. I'm a bit upset that I bought into that, but yeah, I used to be in the camp for Skyward Sword that they were just holding off on showing us like the new parts, like with how Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. I'm pretty sure those had the HD versions had new content. I was like, yeah, they're probably just gonna hold off and show us the new content a bit later.
Yeah. Who knows? They still might, but I don't think they will.
They might, but we've also. It's been a while since they announced it, so I don't know. I think that if they were going to show us some new stuff, they would have done it by now.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe because they didn't really do any trailer or anything for the Amiibo, did they? That was just kind of like announced this as an article or news thing, wasn't it?
There was a little video. It was only like a minute or 2.
Yeah. Okay.
It was just kind of showing off what it did, so it wasn't really much. But
There's a screenshot that says, "Master, please tap an Amiibo accessory." Oh, okay. So okay.
yeah, that was pretty much
What
it.
if, like,
Um,
is it just as soon as you tap it, it auto teleports you? What if
Yeah,
you did it
like-
by accident when you were like,
hold on,
no,
no,
it-
through
it
and
gives
touched
you-
it?
I'm reading.
Your
I think it says-
your like
It gives you, like,
companion
an
fire
option.
comes up and then asks you if you want to go
Ah,
back.
Okay, so it
Go
doesn't
back,
just she doesn't just show up and be like, all right, we're going now.
I said, no, I'm just going to finish this dungeon. No.
You're like at the big boss door and you accidentally teleport back to Skyloft.
Yeah.
Okay, so normally you can only return from the surface to the sky by the way of designed save points, but using the Amiibo while on the surface in the game will allow you to return to the skies from anywhere on the surface, even inside dungeons. If you use the Zelda Loftwing Amiibo again while in the sky, you can return to the spot on the surface where you used it before. So, I mean, if you're like, oh, I should go back and get that one ruby that I totally needed to use to buy at the store, then I guess that's the only example I could think of
That
you
makes
would-
me think
It's
of
not.
Yeah, you can go back to like
It's not really that
Skyloft and
useful.
you go back to Skyloft and get some like stock up on some items and that in case like you need some stuff before the boss or whatever that you couldn't do in the original game. But apart from that, so are you guys keen for the story? Because I think Skyward Sword, the best thing about that game is the story, and a few of the dungeons are really great too. There's a
Demise. No, is it Demise? Is that his name? Ultimate Demise? No.
Demise.
don't know, not spoiling it for you, man.
Yeah.
If you haven't played it, don't spoil it for everyone else
the
too.
The game was out originally 10, 15 years ago. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Why haven't you played it? Okay?
I've seen people play it. It's just as enjoyable.
You've seen people play it.
that way I didn't have to play it
not sure.
myself.
I-
and I
I
still
watched-
got
I
the
watched-
content.
I watched Game Grumps play it. It was actually kind of funny.
Mm.
Just seeing Aaron rage about the motion controllers and everything was hilarious.
Thank God that we don't have to use the motion controls for this.
Yeah.
That's one good thing.
I'm interested to see how the actual just button controls will work for it. How well
gonna
they're
be
going to work.
interesting.
Yeah, Because like it was such a thing back in the day where it's like, oh, it can only be done with the motion controls. Oh my god, it's
the
just
motion plus.
yeah. So it's revolutionary, but now it's just like it's the second stick. It's fine. Let's use that.
It's gonna be interesting to use a
admit-
stick for it. See how that translates. I guess it must work. They wouldn't be releasing it if it was just broken. Actually,
The
it's
Joy-Cons look
Nintendo, so we will see.
Well, to be fair, Nintendo doesn't release broken games. Like
I'd imagine it'd be similar.
Battle
It'd kind
Rods?
of feel similar to how
that's not Nintendo.
they handled the.
They shouldn't have let that be published on their
No, probably not.
system.
What was that? Sorry, Matt.
I'd imagine it'd be. I'd imagine that it would be kind of similar to how the No More Heroes 1 and 2 like ports worked, although they mapped the swinging to buttons. So I guess it would just be the same, but with the stick.
Yeah,
So
but
they felt pretty good.
the difference was like No More Heroes. That was just like original motion controls. So like a swing in No More Heroes was literally just a button press, but with Skyward Sword, it actually mapped to where you were moving it to.
That's a good.
So it was actually like a lot more complicated.
Yeah, so there were certain enemies you could only defeat by
you can
swinging
tell I've
certain
never
ways
played.
and things like that, wasn't there? Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how it goes. Anyway, guys, we might leave it there. We're running a bit late, and I've got to let these guys get home. They've just had a trip from Melbourne, so I can't go too much later. But,
Straight out of the car.
I definitely appreciate you guys coming on, and I might see you next week if you come by while the doors are open.
Yeah. Probably.
Maybe I'll be back too.
Depends on,
Not in person, but through the
well,
doors.
Yeah, come through the doors,
I'll
my
poke
friend.
my head
Depends
through
on-
the window. Maybe throw a brick through it.
Jesus. It's got an open door and you just smash through the window anyway.
I mean,
coming in
I'll be
whether you
attached
like
to
it
the
or not,
brick,
Drew.
but
You are brick.
Knocking is so overrated these days.
My
Throwing
Wii
bricks
U
through
will be the
windows is where it's at.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you guys. We'll see you later.
Yeah, no problem.
Auf
Thanks for having us.
very lovely
Ciao.
to talk to you guys for the first time.
Likewise.
Yes. Yeah, likewise.
I'm glad you could escape Melbourne. I'm stuck here, so yeah, well done.
Oh, are you from Melbourne? Whereabouts are you from?
No. I'm not from here. I'm from South Australia, the Holy Land, but I
me
married
too.
a Victorian lady, so yeah.
Whereabouts in...
Yeah.
you don't have to
unlucky.
disclose this if you don't feel comfortable, but whereabouts in...
No, Clyde North, so out near Cranbourne.
Ah, okay. I'm from
Southeast.
Footscray.
Oh, from Footscray. Fair enough.
Scottish people live out there or what?
No.
I don't even know why I did an Irish accent there. I just went
Oh,
Footscray.
so it was Irish. Okay.
I was genuinely confused.
Irish for some reason.
That was definitely Scottish.
Definitely
Oh, I don't
Scottish.
know.
I was like, is that something I don't know about Footscray?
Footscray is the land of the Scottish people.
That's
I have never met a Scottish person in Footscray. Oh my gosh.
You just have to
Oh
get out
my
enough.
god.
all right, guys.
All right.
See you later.
Where's that door?
See you, Drew.
See ya.
Yeah, well, yeah, where is that?
Bye, my
There we
friends.
go. Oh, there it is.
What wonderful young men, eh?
Oh, absolutely. That was fantastic.
Well, guys, that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you guys very much for coming. Like I said before, I was just going to be talking to myself and letting these misfits in. But yeah, had a great time catching up with you, Ash, and meeting you, Katie. So
So
fantastic.
instead of just those misfits on voice chat, you had actual misfits in your actual house.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and like I said to you as well, like if I didn't have you over here for the podcast, you'll go into a 30th birthday and you had your weekend set out, so I wouldn't have caught up with you.
Yeah, so this I was going to be doing nothing tonight. Probably would have went back to my mum's place, maybe watched a bit of TV and gone to bed. So yeah, this way we got to catch up. We had a bit of fun, talked some Nintendo. It was great.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you
Threw in-
guys very much.
Threw in a few tangents.
Yeah. So, guys, thank you very much for listening to the House of Mario, episode 188. If you'd like to follow us on social media, you can follow me at iDruby and the show at the House of Mario. Don't think Ash has any social medias.
I have Instagram, but there's no point in following it because I don't post anything.
No one wants to follow that. Katie, do you have any Instagrams or
No Insta.
posting pictures of your dogs and stuff you want people to see?
We're both boring.
Both boring. Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty boring too. I don't post that much.
I
But
saw you post one recently of you and your dog. I thought
yeah,
that
I
was
post pictures of
quite
me and my dog on
lovely.
Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at iDruby too, but that's pretty doesn't really have much relevance. Instagram's one of those platforms I don't post a whole lot of gaming stuff because, all the real life people are going to be like, what's that guy doing on the... Hey, what's he?
Oh, the real life people.
You know what I mean, though.
I
don't
know
you?
what you mean, yeah.
The normies.
Every now and again, I put it on like my Instagram stories, but
There's
like,
people that,
oh,
like with their hunting pictures, and you're posting like Mario, and they're like,
on microphone pictures. Yeah, I just recorded a podcast of that. Just killed it.
like, what's a podcast? Is that how do you cast a pod?
A lot of people actually don't know what a podcast is.
I think it's a fishing term.
It's it's a real problem.
Real problem.
Yeah, it's a real problem.
Getting too pun based.
Yeah. God.
Sorry.
All right, guys. The doors to the house.
Just
what's
quickly,
that?
I
What's
just wanted
that?
to add one more thing.
I was just about to shut them.
Just quickly, I've never said. I don't think I've ever actually brought this to your attention, but out of all of your music for the podcast, my favorite is definitely the Reggie's Rec Room music. That saxophone is just. Mwah. You don't have to play it. I just wanted to say it before you close the doors. I've always wanted to tell you that.
Well, thank you very much. It's always been on the tip of your tongue. You didn't tell me last time. Has
I
it been
think
an
I
emotion
actually-
that's come across
I think
since
I
then?
actually planned on telling you last time, but just forgot. We did run later than we were meant to and got a bit rushed by the end. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I actually planned on mentioning it and just forgot. And I was like, I'm here again. I need to say it.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, Ash. I'm sure the artist will appreciate that. Reggie will appreciate that. He's some banging music over there. So
He will.
we've given him a rest the last couple of episodes though, so he's safe.
He's having a good nap.
He is. All right, guys. The doors to the House of Mario are closed. Oh, shit. Oh, I forgot I had that on there. Oh, it's this one. That scared the shit out of me. Oh, sorry, everyone. Get out. Just embarrassed myself now.
Oh, jeez.